This is episode 82 of the Wilderness Locals podcast. On this episode, Wacey and myself catch up. We chat about coyotes, satellite communicators, and we chime back in on the Ranella controversy a little bit. This episode is brought to you by Kifaru International, the toughest hunting gear on the planet. Right now, Kifaru's just launched 2 new packs and a fishing rig and all kinds of stuff, so head over there and check it out, kifaru.net. And as always, this podcast is brought to you by Just Shooting Arrows, BC's premier archery shop.
How you feeling?
Well, I'm beat up. I'm living off cold meds right now, but no, it's good. I got some strong stuff and I'm feeling okay now.
You got the Wuhan flu or what?
I don't know, maybe. Who knows?
I think I had it here.
China virus. What's
Actually,
that?
I don't know if I had it or not. I was just sick. I think it's just cold and flu season.
Yeah, my buddy was telling me though, he's like, he works at a hospital. He's like, man, everybody has it. Like he was saying like a lot of folks that think they have a cold or a flu or whatever just have this latest version or whatever. So I don't know. Maybe we all get it out of the way. We
were just sick, so we just stayed home. I don't know. Everybody in my house was sick. My kids were a little sick, but they weren't that sick.
Yeah, same as my house. Everybody's nasty, and kids were only sick for a couple of days, so it's all good. What are you saying? Are you're ringing in the new year with some outdoor activities, or you're just hiding?
No, I'm just hiding. It's supposed to warm up next week to like 0, so that'll be good. Yeah,
we're supposed to get hammered, I think, tonight or tomorrow night here with snow again. So we'll see what happens. But I'd like to get after some coyotes here soon.
Yeah, kill some, skin them up.
Yeah, I got access on on a couple 100 acres of farmland right by me here that I like to go shoot some. But we'll see how I'm feeling.
It's good practice to figure out lead times and stuff. I shot them for a lot of years on the run. Gets you dialed in for shooting big game. Not that you shoot running all the time. You were shooting a 204 Ruger, right? Yeah, and a CZ 527 All American.
I like those CZs, man.
I say to this day they have the best factory trigger in a rifle. It's got a 3-part adjustable.
Yeah, I have a CZ 452 American in 17 HMR. I don't know. I've owned that gun since I was 18. And it's just shot one hole since I've owned it. It's amazing.
I always say that I had the first. I always like to say this. I don't know if it was true, but I like to say I had the first 204 in Canada. I've been shooting a fucking 204 for a long time. That CZ. If that CZ has killed 1,500 coyotes, I mean, I'd be lying. That thing is in his original barrel still, which is crazy for a hot round like that. And I like that. I like that caliber. Yeah, hand load. So I put 35 grain burgers out of that gun, and it's 4,000 feet per second. So when it hits something, it just shuts the switch off. It stones them. I like it.
That's cool. And your lead times and everything are much shorter with the bullet moving that fast, eh?
Yeah, I've shot coyotes running crossways. It's hard to explain. I know what it looks like in my scope, but for the most part, I'm not putting big leads on them. I'm just putting it just a hair in front and kind of swinging with them, and I'll usually tag them every time.
Man, when we were in Southern Alberta, you were pointing this out to me because in here in BC, you don't get you generally don't get big long looks at dogs like that where they're running away from you for half an hour. You can see Saskatchewan from where you're standing just about always down there, right? But you were explaining to me when those coyotes are running away, you can tell which ones have been shot at before how they're looking back at you and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, they're ducking and diving all the time.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's cool. I couldn't believe how many coyotes we saw down there. I think we probably counted like 50 or 60 in a couple days.
When I started calling coyotes, this was pre electronic caller, and so what there was hand calls, and then there was tape recorder calls. Like you just put a tape in like a tape player, and you could call like that, and then Johnny Stewart come out with a call, and it was like you had these chips you'd put in. And then it had a cord, so you'd string out this cord to your speaker, and you'd put your speaker like 10 feet away, but it was all corded. You had a cord. And I killed a piss pot of coyotes with that thing and hand called. And then I remember when like the first electronic wireless collars came out, me and my cousin, he would buy a bunch and we'd try them and just see what would work. Cause a lot of them, you couldn't get range out of them. Like you couldn't get 15 yards and you'd lose control of the collar. Hey, like you'd be trying to switch sounds and then it wouldn't work. So it's kind of cool to see the evolution of where we are now from where it started, you know?
Yeah, it's wild. Those collars were good, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, they work good. I have freaking hand called for a lot of years too, but I use a Primos Alpha Dog to this day, and I had Fox Pros and all that shit too, but Fox Pros are good. I like that Primos one, man. It's kind of got some good sounds. I like them because they're Randy Anderson sounds. I've always been a Randy Anderson fan.
Oh yeah,
so I have a bunch of his sounds. That's what I use. They work good.
That's cool. Yeah, it's something that I need to spend more time getting into. I do have that 17. I think that 17 HMR would probably work pretty good on coyotes.
Yeah, you'd want to get them pretty close. I don't know if I wouldn't be popping at them over 150 probably with that thing. Kind of keep them tight. I've shot
shoot at with my 30 Nosler then.
Yeah. I shot a wolf one time with a 17 HMR, fucking killed him. So you just want to be close, I think. You don't want to be
such a light little bullet, eh?
Yeah. Well, everyone's always like, how do you use a 35 grain Burger? I shot a few wolves with the 204, and it's just so fast. It just hits them and shuts the switch off, and they just don't wake up. Like it knocks them out. I don't think it kills them instantly, but it knocks them out and then they don't wake up. If your shot's anywhere half decent, they just don't wake up. Because I get a lot of questions like on
that's cool.
Q&A guys are like, oh, what's the best wolf caliber? And honestly, I think the best wolf caliber is like a bigger gun. I think, honestly, I think the perfect caliber would be like a 6.5, a 243, 270, something in there, that 90 to 130 grain bullet with a little bit of speed to it and hit them, you know, with a good expanding bullet. Because wolves are tough, eh? Like they'll take a bullet.
Yeah, they sure are. I'm building a 25-06 right now.
That'd be good. That'd be a good gun.
When I went and picked up my 30 Nosler, yeah, right. When I went and picked up my 30 Nosler, my gunsmith buddy there, Gary, he's like, hey, I got another pre-64 here. And I was like, oh yeah? He's like, yeah, you want it? I was like, yeah, I do. I love those actions. They're so cool. But he's got one with a old maker's mark and stuff on it. So we're going to do it in a 25-06. And then I got one of those cool carbon barrels coming for it and going to put it in a little heavier stock this time. So I think that might be the gun that I shoot coyotes with, maybe a little bit of a big round, but it'd be fun.
It just depends. If you're going to be skinning and putting your like into the commercial market, like I did for a lot of years, you don't want to spend all your time sewing, right? That's why I always use this 204 and a 35 grain pill, because I was never really sewing that much. And then if I would pick up a coyote that my dad shot, he shoots a 22-250. It's an Ackley improved. I was always fucking sewing. So
yeah, but
if you're just shooting coyotes for predator management, like fuck whatever, man, hit them with a 300 and use a shit. You know?
Yeah, no kidding. A lot of the dogs, like down where we've kind of been in this farmland by my house here, it's the dogs are pretty rough looking. Like they're not pretty.
Yeah. Is there quite a few around there? You should go to Stanley Park.
Yeah, I heard they have a problem. No, there's lots of coyotes here. I mean, I think the other day you and I were on the phone and I was like, there's a coyote in my backyard right now. And you're like, kill that fucking thing.
Yeah. Call them in, kill them. There's millions. They're like, if a nuke went off today, the only thing left would be cockroaches and coyotes. Everything else would be dead. Them fuckers will survive.
No kidding.
I had this coyote one time. I was shooting coyotes at this pig farm, this pig rancher. He had all these pig barns, so there was thousands of fucking coyotes around there. And I was trapping and shooting, and I was just hammering on them, like killing hundreds. And there was this one coyote, and I'd shot and I hit him a little low, and I blew his front leg off. And he had mange real bad, so he had no hair. And the next time I seen him, he was 3-legged heading across the field, and I just give him the nod. I just give him a pass. I said, you've had enough, man.
That's rough, eh? They're so tough.
That's what I'm saying. They're survivors, man. Like they're like, oh, fuck it. I don't need that leg anyway. Keep going.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks, maybe not our audience, but I think like a lot of folks just in society have like a weird view of wildlife because like humans are such like soft-skinned just pussies, right? And like I mean I shot an elk at 19 yards with a 7mm Ram Mag twice, and it lived 2 more years. And then my buddy killed it. You know what I mean? Like, just they're so tough. Like all this wildlife is so tough.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, crazy tough.
You know, and you on Instagram, you're constantly seeing, oh, shot this elk and there's a broadhead stuck in its freaking face or whatever, right?
Oh yeah, man. You talk to any old butcher that does wild game. He's always finding broadheads and shit.
Oh, yeah, it's
crazy.
Good way to get some broadheads, I guess.
Yeah,
I always think about that, man. Like the folks that used to hunt with stone points, right? Like, how much game did they lose?
I read an article or heard an article one time somewhere that they had found, I think it was South America or someplace, they'd found a woolly mammoth. Mm-hmm. And it had like 15 stone points in it or some fucking thing, or 18.
Yeah. If there's a stone pointed in the air, there's hope.
Yeah. Well, it was just, you had to eat, I guess, right? Like, well, fuck it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the original people there, I don't think they had too much concern about the animals' feelings when they're just trying to get by, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you're gonna do some coyote hunting?
Yeah, I'd like to. We'll see. We'll see how the getting over this sickness goes here, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I have this goat thing in February too, right? Me and a bunch of guys are going. This dude Brandon that lives up in that area has been scouting for me, which is pretty wicked of him.
Oh yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, he got back there the other day.
Is he driving his truck right up there? Or what?
Oh yeah. There's a road that's plowed back there.
Huh. Oh, are you gonna hike through tree line or what?
Well, I think what the plan is I think we're going to get to basically, the mountain that you and I called Mount Kilimanjaro. It was a north facing kind of slope. Opposite of that is that big southern wall. And then just below that, it drops to tree line. And then there's 4 or 5 fingers that run off this mountain. And they run to the northeast, but there's south facing slopes obviously on the opposite of each of those fingers. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to get below those and glass up. And I think before we make any ascent, we're going to try to locate a billy that we want to take before we ever go up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was kind of our plan initially. And we had some kind of bad intel on that road, but yeah, it looks like we'll be able to do it in the winter here.
So there's another road in then, obviously.
Yeah, we found another road. Yeah, this other cat knew this road and he's been going in that way, so it looks good.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I wish you were coming on it.
I don't know if I'll be able to sneak away right now. It's pretty busy at work. And fuck.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. It's okay. We got stuff. We've been cooking up stuff for September here for you and I. Eh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got some new gear too, so had to replace a few things. Well, I got a tent and I bought a stereo pen. And I sold that InReach Mini and got a fucking Zoleo.
Yeah, that's actually a subject we should get into a little bit.
Hey, I wanted to ask you about like the billing on it. Do you got to buy like a year membership like InReach, or do you just pay for the month?
No, you can pay for the month, but you can just set it up to be recurring billing. So you can start and stop the Zoleo at any time. See,
this is the thing that pissed me off with InReach is like, oh yeah, so you got to pay your whatever $150 a year to be on their program. Well, yeah, so you pay that every year, and then okay, so now you want to use the device, so now you have to pay the monthly thing. Yep. Okay, so then after you pay that, you only get like, what was it, like 10 or so messages for like $40, and then if you go over that, it was 75 cents a fucking message. Like, fuck off.
Yeah, it depends what package you have and how much you're paying as a base price. But yeah, the Zoleo is more affordable, and then I mean, they have different features, right? Like the Garmin stuff, you can't fault the Garmin stuff from a mapping aspect, right? Like the Explorer and all of the handheld Garmins. I mean, those are tried and true. The wrist wearing stuff is like all the wrist devices, like their watches, and then they do like ballistic calculators and stuff like that. All that stuff's great, right? But when we're talking just solely about a satellite communicator, they kind of leave some stuff to be desired in terms of getting messages out and usability and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of started to do a little bit of a, not so much a review because all of these things work, but like a kind of comparison between like the Spot messengers. So like the Spot X, which is the handheld one with the keyboard, and then like this straight up just Spot messenger like transponder piece. It actually looks just like a Zoleo. Mm-hmm. And then the InReach Mini, and then the Zoleo, right? I mean, out of those three, I so far prefer the Zoleo. And we don't have any affiliation with Zoleo. They were talking about coming on the podcast, but I'm pretty crappy at responding to emails a lot of the time, so we'll see how that goes. But with the InReach, like when you and I were side by side on our goat hunt, I was having like full on conversations with people, and you were like barely getting messages out.
Hardly. It was like 8 minutes to get a fucking message out. One message. Yeah. So I had to make sure I put everything I needed in that one message. Like I couldn't like have a conversation with somebody with that fucking thing.
Yeah. So something that's really cool about the Zoleo software, and I keep in mind, okay, guys, that both of these devices run on the same Iridium satellite network. Okay. So Spot actually uses a different satellite service. I can look up what it is. I can't remember offhand. So the Zoleo and the InReach both run off Iridium. And the hang on one sec here, boys. Okay, and so Spot uses Global Star, and now Global Star is the satellites. They don't have 24-hour coverage, the Global Star system. So there's certain times of the day where you'll get blackouts. Now you don't experience it as much with text only, but if you're running a Global Star satellite phone, like the phone that I carry, Wacey, there's certain hours of the day that you won't be able to get out depending on your geographical location, right? So that's like the big difference between Global Star and Iridium. Iridium has like a global coverage. There's a whole bunch of satellites that use that network. You're not just shooting for a satellite that's passing over you, like you are with Global Star.
Yeah.
So in terms of network, the Iridium is all things considered for text only better. And so Zoleo and Garmin use the same network. The difference to me lies in the hardware and in the software. Now, the cool thing about the software on the Zoleo is that when you set a message, it automatically sends and receives. So like, you remember back in the day when you would check your email, you'd hit that top button, send and receive on Outlook, Wacey?
Yeah.
And it would go out and it would hit the server and see, hey, you got any messages sitting here? And it would bring them in, right? That's basically what these satellite devices do. But the cool thing about the Zoleo is every time you send a message, it automatically does it. And the reason that it's able to do it is the hardware is really good. It has a really, really, really good battery life. You'll find with an inReach, if you set an inReach up to pull the satellites every 5 to 10 minutes, like you can on a Zoleo, you'll kill it in an afternoon. Or if you set it to track, because the inReach has the ability to map your waypoints. Yeah, exactly. Do the tracking. You'll kill that thing in an afternoon, right? So you have to remember, like the Zoleo is a little more stripped down. It's only a text device. It does SOS, and you can send your longitude and latitude in a text message. So like for a messaging device, I think it's really hard to beat that Zoleo right now, right? It's fast. It has the battery life to do those check-ins. And the signal strength of it is like really robust compared to an inReach Mini, say. Like if you clip a inReach Mini and a Zoleo on, like, the handle of your pack or something, the Zoleo will get out in the trees, whereas the inReach will need a straight shot to the sky.
Mm-hmm. You remember when we were watering up at the bottom of the trail, bottom of tree line that time?
Yep.
And I sent a message there. That motherfucker didn't go out until we said camp.
Yeah,
because we were going through tree line for fucking 18 fucking million hours. So like, It's to me like, I don't really like, that's your wheelhouse, this stuff, but like, yeah, I just want to send and receive messages like fairly promptly. I don't want to wait 8 minutes to get a message out. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so the Zoleo has to see the sky, right? You can't put it in your pack.
What's funny is on our goat hunt, I ran it in the my chest mounted junk drawer. I had it tucked in front of my rangefinder inside of a pocket, and it was working fine because I was dumping my pack quite a bit, right? When we were getting into those cliffs and stuff, I was dropping my pack to kind of get out into some of the sketchy spots. And I wanted to keep my inReach on me, or my Zoleo on me. So I had that SOS button if I decided to freaking take a dive. And so you and I were messaging from my Zoleo to your inReach, which is cool that you can do that because you can't go inReach to inReach.
Mm-hmm. So can we go Zoleo to Zoleo? Probably.
Yes, you can. And here's a cool thing about Zoleo is if I'm messaging you through my Zoleo app and I get cell phone service, those messages will still go through. They'll go through on the cell network. It doesn't matter if you're using the satellite transponder or if you're using your cell phone. it'll still get out, right? So like if you're somewhere where you're in and out of service, you can be using both simultaneously, right? Like often areas that I hunt elk in, I'll like lose service for a minute and I'll get it back. And like my wife will message me, and I'll get it instantly if I have cell phone service. And then if I lose cell phone service, I'll get it, 3 or 4 minutes delayed. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So this is from me, like a guy that's not real techie at all. So so here's my observations of doing this. The Zolio's half the price. We're talking $260 Canadian over $460 for the InReach Mini.
Yeah.
I absolutely despise the fucking billing for InReach.
Yeah,
and
it's expensive.
It's expensive, and you have to be part of the boys club to even use the fucking thing. With the Zolio, like I only want to use it for September, October. Then that's it. I don't want to pay a year subscription to be on the network and all that bullshit. So to me, just them and them couple things, and the battery life. I don't know. You say the battery life's good. Like, did you charge it on our trip at all?
No, I don't think I did. I do bring stuff to charge devices. Let me just look up. So Zolio says 200 hours on theirs.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh yeah, no, super good. It does have a much bigger battery. I could look up the size of the battery. I think it's like it's a significantly bigger battery in the Zolio than the InReach Mini.
So what I think with the Garmin thing, what I think is you're buying the name. Like when you pay for that InReach, you're paying for Garmin. That's it. Mm-hmm. And to me, I think the Zolio is more of a working man's sat communicator, and it works good. It's half the cost to run and half the cost to fucking buy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think it's just I think it's a more refined device. It's like one of those things, right? The further you get into any technology, the more it gets refined, and the more the cheaper it gets, right? So with it not having the mapping stuff, it's like it's sort of not a factor for me because I run all of my maps on my phone anyways. And I mean, guys that are running like Garmin Explorer Pluses, like, okay, maybe that's the point that you move back to a Garmin device, right? But that being said, I don't know. I think most people keep their phones charged when they're in the backcountry anyways nowadays, right? The maps, like I'm always running top notch Navigator here in BC, and I mean we were running landowner tags. Or not landowner tags, but landowner maps when we were hunting Alberta a couple of years ago now, right? So it was important for us to have those devices anyways.
Yeah. So for me, I was using that damn Last Light. Have you ever heard of those? Mm-hmm. Well, you've seen it. So it's a charging bank plus a light.
Okay.
They're pretty cool. I'm really happy with that thing. It's just like it says like a battery bank, but it has a light on it, and then it has a USB plug-in. So you can buy from Last Light if you Google them.
Yeah.
You can buy them light strings. So like you could hang this in your tent, or I see videos of guys using their Last Lights. Like when they're gotten a game animal at night or something, they'll hang them above them in a tree, and they'll plug their battery bank in. It's pretty cool. And it's like an LED light string and like lights it right up. Oh,
I think Barclow runs those too. Actually, I was talking to him about it.
I like the thing I like is with Last Light battery banks, like they're hunters. They're made for hunters. They're made by hunters. So I like supporting stuff. Like I like supporting things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the Zolio has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and the InReach Mini has a 3,100 milliamp hour battery. So just about 40% bigger battery on the Zolio. But it doesn't have a screen or anything on it, and it doesn't do any of the mapping stuff. So I think there's a bit of a power savings there. And I think that's why you can you can stretch your Zolio out a long time. Like, I don't think I even charged mine like for the month of September, like I wasn't using it that much, but I had it on and it was just like on standby, and I don't even think I charged it once.
Can you so you're mapping, can you run it off your phone without service?
Yeah, yeah. It depends. I mean, like we should do at some point. We should do like a digital mapping for dummies kind of thing on here. I don't know if the audience knows that I have kind of a tech background.
You're techie dude. I am not a techie dude.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of schooling that I very rarely use. So, there's a whole bunch of different mapping software, and we should talk about at some point we should talk about how to look up statistics and all of these different things. I mean, I really wanted to introduce the audience to Top Notch Navigator, because Mason there does a really good job for folks in BC. He kind of does everything that I used to do and puts it on one map. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's too bad it doesn't exist for Alberta. We got to see if we can get them on that.
Alberta's mapping sucks. iHunter sucks. Like if anybody wanted to create like an actual, like iHunter is good for what it is. Like you click on it, it tells you what's open, what tags you need, like, and you can buy landowner names and all that shit. But as far as like mapping quotes, like to look at actual mapping, you're fucked in that country.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, I showed you the Top Notch Nav for where we were goat hunting. It's like it shows you the ridges that they winter on, even, like.
Oh yeah, way better.
Wild. Anyways, to wrap up this satellite messenger thing, I think purely from a text perspective, like if you just want to send text messages and be able to get them in and out reliably for a long time, like if you're doing a 7-day trip and you want to stay in touch with your family, I would go Zoleo, and I wouldn't hesitate to do that. I think the only way you would see me going back to a Garmin device for messaging is if I had to run a specific map on like an Explorer Plus or something like that. But I don't see it happening with, a lot of these cell phones will last a long freaking time in low battery mode and airplane mode. And nowadays a battery bank is so light and easy to carry, right?
So that last light I have, man, I wish I had the specs on that, but I don't know. I can charge my phone like 6 times or something with that thing.
Yeah. Like I have the battery pack I've been carrying is like 38,500 milliamp hours. And like, I can charge my phone like 10 times on it or something like that.
Yeah, that's sweet. But I mean, you're not really fucking around on your phone. Like it's in airplane mode. You're just using it to like send messages and that's it. Like it's just,
yeah,
it's but that's kind of a downfall too, I will say, for the Zoleo, because if you smash your phone, I think that's it. That's it. Right.
Yeah. But you can still hit, you have the SOS button.
On the Zoleo. Yeah. So that's like,
so just to give guys context, right? So this last light battery that Wacey's running is 20,000 milliamp hours, and a iPhone 12 Pro Max. So that's like the big bastard phone with all the cameras on it. Has a 3,687 milliamp hour battery. So, quick maths here. You could charge that phone 5.5 times with the battery pack that Wacey has from completely dead.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I like the feature too with that last light. They made that so it's durable. Like you can leave it out in the rain. And it sounds like I'm sponsored by them, eh?
Yeah. What's going on here?
I don't know. It just sold me when I did watch reviews on it. Mike Hearn, I think he's a pro staff for him. I think that's maybe where I seen him, but yeah, I like it. Like, so if you're, so this is so this is the thing, like too, like I watched a hunting video one time, and he was a guy in Alaska, and his whole communication system was based off his phone and like a fucking Zoleo. And his charger broke because he had bought an Amazon fucking battery bank. And so it fucking quit charging or flaked out or whatever happened. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm going to pony up for a charger. And then I seen this last light thing. So that's why I kind of went with these. I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anything about the last light stuff other than what you've told me. With electronics, man, it's one of those things. Like, a lot of this stuff is all made in the same place, you know?
Yeah.
We talked about that. We've talked.
Last Light's gonna have to send me a fucking sponsorship deal after this podcast.
No kidding. Like, man, this podcast is brought to you by Waste Dog, featuring Last Light.
But I don't know, like, what's your battery chargers? Are they Amazons or what?
Yeah, I got a couple Amazon ones. I have some Rav Powers. I have some Anchors. Like, I don't know. I just like, they're kind of just fucking handy to have around in general, you know? Like, I got a pile of kids and stuff. I'm like, you know, always plugging the crap in and whatever, right? Like,
yeah.
I think I even charged my watch on our goat hunt because I forgot to charge it before we went up, and I happened to have the cord with me. So,
so do we kind of have a plan figured out for what we're doing this September?
Hang on, before we bail off the satellite thing, I get a lot of questions because guys ask me about the satellite phone that I run.
Yeah.
Because I think it's pretty tough to run a satellite phone these days. So what I actually have is I have the old Spot satellite phone, but it's actually just a Global Star GSP 1700. They're about $400, but they're really freaking expensive to run. And you have to sign up for a plan. It's basically like getting a cell phone number.
Right.
And then there's a certain numbers of minutes, yada, yada, yada. Right. So like an unlimited plan is like $100 a month. So they're stupid expensive. Right. I think I pay about $50 a month, but like with me having a pile of kids and like I'm out of service a lot. And often with the kids, it's sort of invaluable for me to have inside my family. And I just take it on hunts with us. Like, so on our goat hunt, like I think we even called Ronnie, like we called your family, we called my family, we called Ronnie. Like we just use it like a phone, and it works pretty well everywhere. But there is blackout periods, and there is areas that aren't covered. Like, I don't think you can use it in Alaska, like at all. So it's like in BC and in the lower 48, I think you're pretty well covered. But there is certain times when you'll be out of range, just because you'll be in between satellites. You know, one will be getting out of the visible sky, and the other one will be coming in. So it's just something to consider if you're going to go the satellite phone route. And I would say it's not nearly as reliable as like a Zoleo satellite messenger or something like that. I've had times where I've only had the satellite phone with me, and not been able to get a call out when I needed to. I got a truck stuck way in the back country one time, and I ended up having to hike pretty far before I could get a call out. So,
yeah,
there you go.
Work gave me a satellite phone one time. I used to use it just to phone my dad and bullshit about the weather. At $1 a minute.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess we should touch on the Spot X, right? I mentioned it briefly there. Like, there's the Gen 4 Spot and the Spot X. They're on that same Global Star network, so you'll have less coverage than you will with something that's on the Iridium network, and that's just the main thing to consider, right? And the Spot X works very similar to a Garmin InReach in terms of software. The software is a little clunky, it's a little slow. Their website stuff is really great. Same with Garmin's website stuff, actually. So if you want to go back and look at the waypoints you've set and even download them, bring them back in and throw them back onto a map, The Garmin and the Spot will do that. The Zoleo will not. The Zoleo is not a mapping product at all. It just focuses solely on messaging and safety. That's it.
Yeah. And I mean, that SOS button's kind of comforting too, right? What's the plan with Zoleo with that? Do you get one free press or what?
No, you have to, you want to do the insurance for the button, for the SOS button. Like, I don't think it's very expensive. I can't remember what it is offhand. I could look it up here if you want.
But the thing I like about the Zoleo is like, you just, like, if I want to use it for September, October, that's what I pay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking like buying into this year-long bullshit.
Yeah, and it's like I mean, I think it's $70 a year just to let her rip like full blast.
Yeah,
like it's cheap. It's super cheap.
So yeah, them are the changes I made. I gotta order a pad yet.
Yep.
I don't know. I gotta get a pad, but I bought a Zoleo stereo pen, and my wife got me a MSR Hubba NX2. I think it is.
Yeah.
So that's that's going to be my like tent for this trip we're going on in September.
Mm-hmm.
Or what are you going to bring for a tent?
I don't know. Maybe a sawtooth. I'm not sure. Depends. I have a few different shelters. I have a big Agnes tent that's very similar to a Hubba. But we'll see. We'll see what the plan is. It sounds like we're going to go chase some caribou and goats and sheep and all kinds of stuff with Ronnie there.
Yeah, man. I would like to try and like do 15 days.
How many?
Just 15 days.
Yeah.
Like 15 hunting days would be nice.
Just take the month.
Well, it would just be an epic trip, right? Like old school. Yeah. Like when Fred Bear and them guys would go, they'd go for like 40 days or however long. Like they would do like expeditions, and then everybody they would like just fucking slay. That's what I want to do. Just go. Like everybody fills all their tags. You come out with like fucking 1,500 pounds of meat.
I think the problem with that is getting it out in a plane, right?
Mm-hmm. But I'll have a tag for mountain goat and mountain caribou.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then we'll see. Ronnie's a pretty diehard sheep hunter, eh? So he's I think he'll be interested in getting us to see some sheep at very least, right?
Oh yeah.
Pretty cool. Real cool. I don't really have any gear changes, to be honest. I think we're gonna do some slick bags this year, right?
Mm-hmm. Kafari slick bags.
Yeah. Other than that, I think we didn't really have any gear failures or anything on our goat trip, so we're sort of Gucci.
I just I want to stay like under 50 pounds, like all in with food and everything. So
yeah,
like 45 pounds would be ideal. So somebody had asked the other day about my food because they were having problems with their guts with mountain houses or something.
Oh yeah. You
remember?
Yeah.
So we talk about that.
No idea who it was. No idea who it was, but yeah.
So with me, I can't do mountain houses, and I can't do backcountry pantry. Them two just rip my freaking ass in two. So like I'm doing the what was I eating? What are they? Peaks, yeah. Peak refuels. So
yeah.
Them are the ones my stomach can take for whatever reason. And then so my wife dehydrates strawberries and then we have a vacuum sealer, so she'll vacuum seal jerky and like just like little packs of peanut butter and freaking berries and stuff. So you're not just eating like fucking granola bars and and fucking mountain houses because it'll just kill you. Like I can't do it. So I just have a little mixture of food. I try to stay when I talk to Snyder about this, he tries to stay anywhere from 3,000 the 4,000 calories a day is what he says. So I run around 32 or 3,500, and we wrote it all down. I counted out my calories. So I'm like, I was 33 to 3,500 calories on when you're putting out that kind of workload. So that's where I'm at. So I'll have one breakfast. It'll be a peak refuel was the granola and berry. And so then I have just the stuff I'll eat during the day, which will be jerky, and everything is like cut like into little individual days. So everything. So I had these like day packs of vacuum sealed bags, and all my meals were in a dry bag. So when I grab one package, that's 1 day's of food. So if me and you were like, hey, we're going to bust out of camp and do a spike camp, we're going to be 3 days. I would grab 3 of them pouches, and I would not pack the rest of my food. Right. So I would do that, and just the variety, just changing up your diet a little bit while you're up there, like a pack of berries, dehydrated strawberries, or some real meat like jerky, and then I would only cook one peak for supper, whatever that would be, like a pasta or something. And then it just didn't seem like it was as hard on your stomach. It's more tolerable for me.
Yeah. I mean, I can't give anybody any backcountry eating advice. My diet is trash when I'm on the mountain.
I can't have it. I got to try and be like somewhat decent on my diet.
No, I know. It's funny. Like when we were, I think it was after the first day, like after we packed in and we were glassing in the evening, I was just feeling like absolute crap. And you were like, have you eaten anything today? I was like, oh yeah. We're like on day 1 and I was like already not eating. You're like, dude, eat some food, like get some food in you like now.
Yeah.
It kind of brings you back to life, right?
Yeah. So you don't gotta, so whoever asked that question about my meals, I can't remember. So you don't gotta be like whatever the fuck these guys are doing, like with granola bars and mountain houses. You can just go online. There's all sorts of freaking yuppies out there, the hiking people that, they'll like make their own dehydrated meals. Like they'll take their own meat, fry it, dehydrate it, make their own dehydrated meals. There's like millions of options you can do. You don't have to just be like, I'm going to eat mountain houses and fucking whatever peak bars or whatever the fuck them bars are called. Cause I can't eat that shit at all. Like I can't have that kind of diet. I got to have like a normal diet when I'm hunting.
Yeah. I just need to figure out how to eat. I can eat like ramen noodles. I think that's what I mostly live on usually when I'm in the woods.
Yeah.
Mr. Noodle, Mama Noodle, whatever.
Yeah. So then my packages too with 3,500 calories is still pretty light. I never did weigh my food out, but I'm not going to change anything with my food. Who's that guy we were talking to? He wears Kuyu. And he was talking about like he had lightened his meals up by changing a bunch of stuff around. Bruce was his name.
Oh, yeah. Bruce.
Yeah. So yeah, like he was like telling me, he's like, oh yeah, I like changed from like these kind of bars to like these dry bars. And like he managed to shave a few pounds off his weight. And he came in for, I think he said like 10 days. Cause he shot a caribou last year, I think, or this year, or whatever, last year. So, but he had came in like 10 days at like 40 pounds or something on his bag, which is fucking crazy. Like that's fucking crazy light.
Yeah. I've been trying to get Bruce on the podcast. It just hasn't worked out. But. So
like for him, like for me, like I'll just carry it a little bit. Like I don't want to suffer with my food. If I was going to cut anything, it would be like I'll cut my sleeping pad. Like I'll just sleep on the fucking ground. Like to me, like food is too important to be miserably hungry, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not the guy to talk food with. I freaking barely eat when I'm on the mountain, unfortunately. Just up there drinking coffee and suffering.
Yeah. What else do we have to go over?
I don't know. We're sort of just winging it today.
You want to talk about Matt Ranella? I don't really want to talk about that guy.
No, I don't necessarily want to talk about Matt Ranella. I think that's a podcast that we did that one with Snyder, and Snyder kind of gave his thoughts, and you kind of chimed in a bit. And then since then, there's been that Meat Eater episode where Steve and Matt were kind of going back and forth, and I sent it to you, and I was like, hey, start at like whatever minute mark it was. Listen to this. And several hours later, you messaged me, or no, you phoned me, yelling into the phone. It's great.
Yeah, it made me angry. That guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he tried to kind of bully his way through that conversation, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I guess what I'm starting to see is online. There's quite a few guys that are sort of, do I say copycatting or regurgitating kind of the same sort of sentiment, right?
To try and get traction. And the whole thing with him, man, you know what he's mad about? Is fucking people. He's mad about people in the outdoors in his elk spots. And he doesn't he's throwing a big hissy fit about it. Cry me a fucking river, man. I've hiked side by side beside guys going into moose spots. It's fucking way it is. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, for me, I would be lying if I would say I haven't been influenced by Matt Ranella and social media and all this others. Not Matt Ranella, Steve Ranella, rather. If I wasn't, I would be lying if I didn't say I had been influenced by, Steve Ranella and Aaron Snyder and whoever else, right? Those guys, starting hunting as an adult, those guys have definitely done some shaping of my view of the outdoors and hunting. Yeah.
I'd like to give Matt Ranella so many rights he'll think he's fucking treaty.
No, I think it's really a kind of a poor argument to blame the messenger. It's like we shouldn't drive because there's car accidents. We shouldn't shoot guns because people get shot with guns or get murdered or whatever, right? It's like you're blaming the tool, or you're blaming the messenger, right? And I think it's more important to blame the people that are creating negative content that has to do with hunting. Blame them. And then this whole being worried about crowding thing, it's like, I don't know. Maybe I have a different view. I live in BC. There's a lot of hunters in BC. We have an absolute ton of opportunity in BC. When I run into folks, I just kind of go somewhere else. Maybe I would feel different if I lived in Montana and there was lots of private land and lots of public land and lots of hunters, and there wasn't enough room to go around. Maybe I would feel different. But for me, I just I don't know. I feel like you could just keep working, keep hunting. Go somewhere else.
Do you know? So we're going for caribou and stuff, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
So it's going to cut into my over the counter moose tag, because that tag goes from August 25th to September 23rd, I think it is.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull a moose draw this year.
Oh, baby.
Because we're not going to be back probably in time for me to get a much over-the-counter moose. So I'll pull a moose draw, and then I'd kind of talk to Lander a little bit about pulling. I'm going to pull mule deer, I think, this year too.
Oh, baby!
And I'm gonna pull it where we were before. I kind of want to get Lander. Yeah. Well, I can go down and we can hunt it with bow. I can still hunt that draw tag with bow, but then if I'm unsuccessful, I'll go back in November and just with the gun, right? But I want to talk to Lander, because he was telling me this year we should have him on. I'd like to get him back on, but he was talking about some of that CWD shit down there. He said it's real. He's seen a handful of bucks this year just walking in circles and shit, and
oh no way,
all sorts of fucking stuff, like them dying in fields. And so
yeah, let's get him back on. I talked to him quite a bit, so.
But because I messaged him, I'm like, hey, I got lots of muley priority I want to pull. But I don't think there is one answer to pull for mule deer in Alberta. I don't know. I'm just going to pull one of them southern zones that we hunted before and fuck it. And just
that's, I know I always say it on here, but I mean, I can't wait to go back, man. Yeah. I was super bummed we didn't go this year. It was neither of our faults. It's just life, but I can't wait to go back this coming season. I know we're doing a lot of cool stuff between now and then, but I'm really looking forward to October.
So we'll go down. So we're going to go September. We'll go do that caribou goat thing.
Yeah. I wish it was in August, but it's not.
So that's what I mean. Like with the planning thing for me, like my planning, it has to go like this deep. Like I have to. So if we're going to do, because everything revolves around that, because I have to put my draws in here in the springtime.
Yep. Us too.
So yeah. So like, okay, so we're going to do moose or caribou in September, which is generally when I would hunt over the counter moose. So I got to change that now and pull my priority tag for that. And then, so I can still hunt them during the rut, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll go do muleys in October, probably.
Yeah.
Mid-October, something like that.
Can't wait. And I think I'm just going to hunt with a compound down there. I think. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I was unsuccessful last 2 years ago with a compound. I feel like I just kind of need to check that off the list with a compound, and then maybe the following year I'll go back with a recurve.
Yeah, I'm just used to like failing with a recurve, so it's like second nature to me now.
Yeah, I get that, but like I had like the deer there is just so big, and like that one that I shot at 60, and he did the full on Keanu Reeves Matrix. My jaw hit the floor when that happened, you know.
I honestly, to be totally honest, I think you know this already. I could give a fuck about mule deer.
I know you hate them.
I honestly, elk and fucking mule deer, I don't give a shit. And the only reason I gotta pull it is because I gotta pull it. I can't. There's no point in just keep piling years on. I'm already over what most 99% of the tags are to pull. So like, why do I keep just building priority? Like eventually I gotta pull it, right? So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Like I could have probably pulled 3 muley tags by now for what I got built for priority. So.
Well, to the point, sometimes you'll send me photos of whitetails, and in the background there'll be like a giant mule deer, and you just won't even mention it.
Yeah, I just don't care. Like, yeah,
you sent me that photo the other day of you and that whitetail, and you also happen to have a dead mule deer behind you in the photo, and I'm like, dude, look at that mule deer. You're like, yeah, okay. Whatever.
Oh yeah, the old photo album I sent you pictures of. Yeah,
yeah, I want to post that.
Yeah. Them were old pictures, man. But yeah, them were the glory days. Fucking killing shit.
No kidding. Are we gonna hunt whitetails in Alberta this year?
Yeah, we can. But I don't know how much time or carve out for whatever, right?
Yeah, work, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I just broke an O-ring. I just broke an O-ring on a broadhead, just dicking with it here. Damn it.
We'll figure it out though. Yeah. So yeah, I ordered the new bow too. So I'm gonna hopefully have we
talked about it on the podcast yet?
No, I don't think so. So I'll have that before.
Yeah.
Hopefully before Trent said he could have it to me before bear season. So, which is May.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna do a solid G10 riser, which is not trad at all, but I don't give a fuck.
Who cares?
And then mono fucking rest, fishing line rest.
Yeah, buddy.
Which is going to be new for me. I've been shot off the shelves since day one.
Welcome to the future.
I just feel like for me, I was telling James this the other day, like for me, like there's just only so much accuracy you can get off the shelf. Like that's it. Like you shoot only so accurate off the shelf, which is not bad. Like my grouping isn't bad off the shelf, but I just feel like if you want to just get a little better accuracy, you just got to get a rest, a springy or some sort of elevated rest just to get that clearance.
You're going to like it. It's super fun. Like this Chinook I have that Jared built me, and he built me a bunch of these rests. I'm not supposed to say that because he said he didn't want to build them for a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Jared. But, this rest that he made me, it's like the bow just shoots, man. Like it shoots like a Satori I had, which is, I mean, a big, heavy target riser, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So I'm going to probably just go with camo limbs. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
I think it's camo, like he's just camo paint over fiberglass, which is like, or carbon fiber, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And Trent's a cool dude too. We'll have to have him back on when he's nearing the end of your bow, so we could talk about your bow and talk to him about his 2021 season and kind of shoot the shit.
And so for me, like some of my learning over the years with traditional is like, it seems like I've always just hovered around 60 inch, 62 inch, and kind of always had little problems tuning right, knock pinch and hard string angles and stuff with a 31 inch draw. I have actually over a 31, just over a 31 inch draw. So that's why this bow is going to be 64 inch. I'm not going to mess around with 60 inch bows anymore. I just can't. It's too frustrating.
Yeah, you went for it, eh?
Yeah, so and what the hell? I mean, I've run 62 inch bows, so an extra inch on either end is not going to be the end of the world.
I think you're big enough; it won't matter. You know, like if I was trying to shoot a 64 inch bow, it would be a problem. You know, like I'd be like hitting it on the ground and stuff when I'm trying to shoot downhill. But I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think it's so 64 inch, 18 inch riser. And then I'm going to do his Jaeger grip, which is basically, if you were talking in the Black Widow terms, that would be like a Randy Cooling. Like it's kind of like, it doesn't have that roll off the left or the right. It's kind of just sharp on either edge. So
it's basically a compound grip.
Yeah. So when you like place your hand, you get pretty positive placement. So most bows, like a standard grip, I think the most standard grips do have that roll off the left side.
Yeah.
So Trent's super cool to talk to. Like he phoned me like right away. Like,
oh yeah, he's a great dude.
He's like, hey, can I phone you? And I'm like, yeah, I was driving home from work. We talked all the way home about hunting.
Yeah,
and
great
I was
dude.
So he's pretty good dude.
Yeah, but archery's full of some good people, like, you know, Trent Wangard, Jared Tolke. Like, I mean, the South is great. Like a lot of Boyers are just super nice folks. You know, you call and order a bow and like you end up with a friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like when I phoned Black Widow too, like the guy couldn't get off the phone fast enough. Like
we shouldn't crap talk anyone.
Well, I'm not really crap talking to him, but like this is just what I experienced. Like I phoned him, I'm like, hey, I got
bigger company, right?
I tried phoning. I'm like, hey man, I was just asking about this bow, and like he was just giving me short answers, and like he had to go, like he was busy. Whereas fucking Trent, who fucking doesn't need my business at all, phones me. He fucking phoned me. I didn't phone him, and he's like, let's talk about this bow. Let's get this thing built. I'm like, fucking rights. Shit like that to me, man, like that, just that small town customer service shit.
Maybe the guy at Black Widow had a hot naked lady in front of him and he really had to go.
No, maybe. And like Black Widow, I mean, they've been around forever and there's lots of diehard Black Widow guys, right? But I just, like, I like their bows. I might own one day, but yeah, I don't want to say anything. I'm not saying anything bad about them, but like to me, just like with Trent,
we hating dog.
Trent's pretty wicked to deal with, right?
Super nice guy. It's like, it's
Trent,
like
Jared. It's like, it's like dealing with them kind of boyers. That makes me want to buy them their bows.
Absolutely. I mean, Jared's become like a personal friend of ours too. You know, like he just was out with his son a couple of days ago shooting coyotes and texted me the story. So cool. Like just the nicest folks, eh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, super nice. Which is cool. Like, so yeah, there's that, and he's just gonna engrave a little word on it for me, and then that'll be it. I just kind of want to like, I kind of just want to keep like I used to when I would get a bow built. I'd try and get fancy veneers and then have this match this. And I kind of stopped doing that. I kind of just want a fucking workhorse. Like when I, like that thing's purpose on this earth is to snatch souls. That's it. It's a fucking soul snatcher. And that's all it's there for. I want to throw it in tin boats. I want to fucking throw it in back seats. I want to beat the shit out of it. And I want it to be just a workhorse. That bow's only purpose is to bring home meat. So like for me, like, yeah, I love aesthetically looking nice, like sexy bows. They're nice. I do like them. But at the end of the day, I'm just kind of over that shit too. Like, that's why I want it. Like, just give me a green G10 riser, some fucking painted limbs, and let's go snatch some souls.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I actually have 2 bows on order right now, believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
Well, I have a longbow on order with Tolkien, a 10X longbow, and I had a piece of vintage canvas micarta sent to him. It's like got a cool patina to it, and he's got some funky veneer that he thinks will contrast it well. So it should be a pretty wild looking bow, but it should be very similar to the same speed as my Chinook with a little bit of a lighter arrow. So I'm going to basically build a target bow out of it, like a competition longbow, and go shoot 3Ds with it and practice with it a little lighter. I have a pretty messed up front shoulder that I try to take it easy on sometimes, and I shoot like a huge volume of arrows. So a little lighter bow is nice once in a while.
What else are you getting built? A compound?
Yeah. I ordered a new Matthews.
Nice.
The new V3X33, and I wasn't going to, but just shooting arrows always kind of helps me out with their staff shooter thing and all that, and they help us out on the podcast a little bit too. So yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. So, and like, I never did talk about why, like, I wanted to get away from the Tolkien. And it's just like, did I talk about this at all? And it's not like, Tolkien is an awesome bow. I love Jared. They did fucking clean work. I love their bow bolt system. That bow shot incredibly well. It was an awesome bow, and I'm going to own another Tolkien one day. But for me, it's just like, I have this weird thing, man, where like bows kind of have to have mojo. Like when I own a bow, like this Jack Kemp quick stick I own, it has mojo. Yeah. Like the minute I picked that bow up, I was killing stuff with that bow. I kind of struggled with that Tolkien this year. Like it did not want to eat at all. And I know as weird as that sounds, everyone says, oh, it's not the bow, it's the Indian font. That's fine. But like for me, like a bow has to have mojo. Like, so it was kind of why I was like, okay, this bow aren't getting along for whatever reason. Yeah. And I shot it well and everything. It's just I need to switch up. And I don't know if anybody else ever has that feeling, but like it's just for me, I needed to switch it up. That was the only reason for changing bows this year. Kind of like a first world country reason, right? But.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying with mojo. Like I've sold guns before that I've had bad experiences with and stuff like that. And not that you had a bad experience with your Tolkien, but it just maybe that bow wasn't speaking to you.
It's just not. We weren't clicking together in hunting. So this Wangard, I'm excited about, and like overall this time, I've learned what is going to make a really good bow for me. So I think everything I'm doing, like from the grip to the length of the bow, the poundage, all of it's going to add up to a pretty sweet little fucking unit.
Yeah, for sure. A little longer, a 3-piece bow, a little different for you. It'll be cool.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
Trent builds a killer bow. I mean, I've been on the list for a while. It's been on my list for a while, anyways, right? So,
and that's kind of like with the Shikari too, with Bob Lee. Like if you look at that bow and like talk to Jake, because Jake was in on the design of that bow. Like that bow was made for taking bodies home. Like it was. Yeah. It's nothing fancy. It's just a workhorse bow that you can beat up. That's super tough with that G10, right?
Yeah.
So that's my reasoning right there.
Cool. Well, that's exciting. I look forward to chatting with Trent about it, and I look forward to seeing you kill a bunch of stuff with it.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So what do you say?
Every year I go into a season like, oh man, hopefully I get it done this year. And every year I do, but it's just like, I'm always like in the back of my head, I'm like, oh man, this might be the year that I fucking don't fill the freezer up.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I've never gone a year with being skunked, but no, I feel the same way. You know, you go into it wondering how it's gonna go. Right? Is there any elk left on my hill?
Mm-hmm.
Or is there any mule deer left? Whatever, you know. So,
do you have anything else to touch on, or?
I don't think so. I'm working on a little bit of a Wild Sheep Society fundraiser membership drive giveaway. So maybe keep your eyes peeled for that here in the coming weeks. I'm just sort of waiting for a thumbs up back from the Wild Sheep boys. I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't know if I should have said it on the podcast, but I did.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And what about you? Anything? We got anything?
No, I think it's this year is pretty quiet for me, man. Trapping. I'm not going to put any iron out. I'm not going to put any snares out. I'm just going to hang out with the wife and family here.
That's great.
And stay warm.
Good man.
So nothing. There's going to be nothing exciting. I might go out for calling wolf a little bit. We'll see if I have time, but
that'd be fun.
Other than that, man, I'm just going to be hiding out, and I want to try and crank out some more podcasts.
Yep. Absolutely.
We got a bunch of stuff lined up. I don't know.
Yeah, let's not talk about it though.
Yeah, we'll keep it under our hats. Some big news coming out.
Is there? Do I know about it?
I like when you say that.
We got big news and then nothing. Just radio silence for weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's good. We've been having fun. What a good first year, eh?
Is this the first podcast of 2022?
No, I put out I posted the Tito. Yeah, a couple days ago. I think I posted yesterday. I'll probably post this on Wednesday tomorrow. So
he's a pretty nice dude, eh?
Super nice and a killer too. Did you look at his personal profile yet?
I should probably.
I'll send it to you. Yeah, no, he's a slayer. Guy's killing all kinds of big stuff.
Yeah. I've been watching YouTube videos on hunting BC, man. There's some special guys in BC, I'll tell you. Holy man.
Like cross-eyed and just dumb. What do you mean?
I don't know. That one guy who shot a goat from a boat and it rolled into the lake. What are you guys doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I sent you that one. That was from Ronnie. Ronnie sent me that. He said, here's your goat hunt. I was like, jeez, so bad.
Oh, that's good. Made me
okay,
laugh.
well, right on. I think it's time I go take my afternoon nap. Just sick.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm going to I gotta go water a bunch of animals and then eat supper, fucking just hang out, not doing much.
Right on. That's good. Quiet's good.
Yeah.
Well, let's put a pin in her here.
Sounds good.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review. You can follow us on Instagram at Wilderness Locals. If you want to support the podcast, please check out the gear, articles, and whatever else we're up to on the website at www.wildernesslocals.net.